Hello and thank you for watching. I just wanted to let you know that my sole purpose for making this video is to spread awareness on hurricanes and what happened here in Grenada. The people here desperately need help, and if you would like to help out, here are two very credible resources where you can donate. Thank you so much for watching. Let's begin. Hello and welcome back to the channel, Caribbean Life. Today we will be talking about our experience with Hurricane Beryl, and here with me today is my wife, Christina. Why are you here on Grenada?
I am a vet student here, going into term 2. Yeah, here for the summer, just waiting for it to start.
So it all started on June 28th, I believe. Yeah, we heard that there was a tropical storm coming our way, and already I was terrified. So we were already panicked, so we went to the grocery store to get everything that we would need. The most we ever spent at a grocery store here, and the grocery stores here are not cheap.
It's for another video.
Yeah, it was also the busiest we've ever seen one. We filled up our water jugs. We have a bunch of water jugs that we filled up at the school.
Yeah, because we were in a drought already, and at our other suite that we were in before we moved here, which was the day before the hurricane hit, we moved. Yes, we did. We didn't have water for 5 weeks. It's more than that, 6 weeks.
I think it was just after this that we got in contact with our landlord, who showed us a very good resource, the Weatherman, which
on YouTube. You
guys should definitely check him out.
Yeah, if you're from the Caribbean, if you're a student or a tourist or resident, the Weatherman on YouTube is a very honest, non-propaganda weatherman.
He doesn't amplify things.
Yeah, and he goes island by island, so he's not like everything's gonna be really bad. But what's really interesting is he actually was like, this is best case scenario, this is worst case scenario, and unfortunately for all of us here in the Eastern Southern Caribbean, it always ended up being worst case scenario every time he uploaded a video.
I want to get right to what we're seeing with Hurricane Beryl. It is rapidly intensifying. That's a worst case scenario. That's just what it is on this channel. I just want to give you the facts about what a storm's doing and what we can expect next.
Well, unfortunately, this is worst case scenario, yeah. And we're like, of course it is.
Especially for Grenada, because there's this cone of probability where the hurricane could go, and it always took the lowest path, like the most southern path, closest to Venezuela, which Grenada is only, I think, 200 kilometers off the coast of. So it's Sunday, and our landlord has everyone here helping us board up the windows. Sunday night, we were watching the Prime Minister. And how did you feel throughout all this time?
Well, they said it was a Category 1, and then in the video was the first time we heard, they were like, could be 2, could be 3, and that was the first time of us hearing about that, and we were like, all right, it just keeps getting more scary.
The Met Office has indicated that the hurricane is likely to strengthen before it reaches the Grenadine Islands. Currently it is a Category 1. The projections are that it is likely to go to as high as a Category 3. And since we do not have control over the water temperature and other factors that may drive the strength of the hurricane, we cannot underestimate that it may even strengthen further.
We had our curfew at 6 p.m. Sunday because it was supposed to hit Monday mid-morning. And so everyone had to be in place by 6.
It was surreal.
Anxiety for 4 days. It was awful.
And finally, we got a message from the school after we boarded up our windows. So we went, but they put us in a room with all the other dogs, people that have dogs, because we have 2 dogs. And the room that they put us in had a lot of windows, and I didn't trust the doors very much. All of the buildings at the school are hurricane rated. For here because our windows.
I also didn't want to watch it.
No, our windows were boarded.
I didn't want to watch it through the glass window.
So we felt safer here.
Yeah, and Kai actually, like the whole time the school kept being like, you know, get ready, and then if they make it a mandatory thing for you to go, you have to go. So I was quite, like, my gut feeling was to go to the school. We get to the school and we're both sitting there, and David Brown and Kai's like, I have a gut feeling, like, I want to go home. And our dogs were stressed and stuff too. There were other factors, but apparently in the housing office they said, oh no, it wasn't mandatory, but people were like, well, we got a department safety like email, and they're like, oh, and they were very confused about it. So they did let people go home if they were like, tell us where you are, cross your name off the list, blah blah blah. But it was kind of confusing, so that wasn't great. But they did have housing if people wanted it or needed it. I trust the school. I'd rather be around like them if like anything were to actually happen, because at least you're around someone who can give you direction rather than being stranded in a house by yourself. But Kai's like, I have a gut instinct, I want to go home.
And obviously the staff weren't very helpful because none of them wanted to be there working right before the hurricane was going to hit the next day. So we went home, and our landlord told us we should go into her suite, which is the basement suite, because during a hurricane, roofs can actually come off because the winds are so strong they can open up any windows, and we had these sort of slats. This is our place now. Packed everything away in the bathroom because there's concrete on the roof in the bathroom, but there's no concrete on the roof here, and the worry is that the wind will come through these panels and the shutters and take the roof off. So we've tied everything. And we went down into the basement, and there she doesn't have AC, so we stayed up that Sunday night for most of the night with the doors open, watching the rain, watching it be calm.
It was calm before the storm all Sunday, all night.
Yeah,
and it started raining
calm.
Sunday morning. I woke up at 2, and our landlord was like, it's category 4, like the roof might come off. And then I started panicking. So we went up and panic packed. I panic packed a bunch of suitcases. It didn't really start raining and picking up till 8 a.m. and then we were watching the live stream.
Observations. At least one plane, I think, is still entering the storm right now. Downgraded.
So it's 10:40, and we are going to lock up and wait this thing out. It's not really a hurricane quite yet, but the eye hasn't hit land yet, but it's gonna be here in 30 minutes. So we are going to lock up and be in the dark now because we just lost power. We're just gonna sleep and hopefully not die. Still looking pretty calm out there.
Like, we're gonna sleep through this, and it was like 10:30 a.m. We're on the phone with my mom and dad for like a couple hours just watching the live stream, and they kept saying it's heading for. It looks like it's heading for Carriacou now, because a couple hours before the eye hit the islands, it looked like it was heading straight for Grenada, but then at the last second, as we can show you here, it kind of rebounded and went up to Carriacou, which is obviously really unfortunate for them.
150 mile per hour winds, and still strengthening clearly as it moves over the island of Carriacou.
And the North Island of Grenada too, but the southern island, we thankfully dodged a bullet, but we went to bed.
We got really lucky.
So we went to bed at like 10:30 in the morning. I woke up a lot. You could hear the wind, but so Kai slept through it, and there was water coming in through our windows, but that was about it. And then I woke Kai up at 4 p.m. and it was done. So the whole thing really lasted about 5 hours-ish, probably, like the worst of it. We got up and then opened the door, and to our surprise, because we didn't know what we were gonna get, right? We probably got category 1 or so, like in our area,
and
kind of on the outside.
Before we drove, and we thought nothing was going to be the same. The beauty was going to be lost in Grenada for a time, at least on the southern island, and we got lucky. Next day,
our flowers were still on our bush, and then we came out and Everyone was very, like, we had, like, the resort people and, like, our neighbors, they were all kind of out, and everyone was kind of having a good time and, like, very relieved.
And happy.
Everyone was very happy, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think there was...
Of course, it was bittersweet because it's hard to feel happy when so many people lost their homes. You know, hurricanes like this have never actually happened before. Beryl was the first ever recorded Category 4 hurricane in June, and only the second Category 5 in July. Fastest to accelerate to a Category 4 ever.
That weatherman that we mentioned was like, there's a really hot pocket of water right like around Barbados before it hit us. He's like, it's probably gonna get worse, which it did.
Sped up 95 miles per hour in only 48 hours. Or in under 48 hours. And, you know, the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, in their latest report, states that, you know, hurricanes are going to become more intense and occur more often, and we're already seeing this. I mean, there's never been a Category 4 for, like, I think, I can't remember if Janet, but even Ivan wasn't a Category 4 when it hit Grenada. And
yeah,
so,
but it was direct, and there's lots of things. It's like wind is one thing, but storm surge is the other that you don't really realize. Like if you're at like beach level, actually the beaches here were
destroyed.
Well, they were carved out. Like, we live kind of up a hill, and there's resorts along the edge, and they went down probably 2 or 3 feet. The beach goes like, we're here to say, Southern Grenada, pretty much as a summary. Hurricane Beryl was awful. Broke a lot of records.
It was really strange to watch everyone board up their windows, but luckily none of the boards were needed down in the south.
Thankfully, yeah. And up north where there's even less infrastructure, I think they suffered a lot. And people seemed fine. I think one of the dorms had some roof damage, but I didn't see it for myself. I just heard about it. I don't know if that's legit or not, but in general, everything held up. I would not have wanted that to hit us as a Category 4. Was it Category 4 when it went over us?
Yeah.
Yeah, screw that. It was like 220 kilometers an hour. Very thankful that we didn't get hit. And
scary.
It is. It's not fun, and it's something that you can prepare for. And all I can say is also, on a note, if people are saying prepare, don't be naive.
I hope this video has given some insight on the situation here and on hurricanes. I once again encourage you to help out. Thank you so much for watching.